Good evening, Des Moines, Iowa. This is Lefty with Doc and Lefty coming to you live on webcast1live.com. We are here every Tuesday night from 6 until 7 p.m. I'm sitting in the absolutely resplendent Webcast One Live studios here in the Ped Mall, or not Ped Mall. See, I was talking. I'm chatting with a guest here off camera. I'm thinking about Iowa City. Here in the lovely Skywalk, Des Moines' crowning downtown feature. We don't think about the principal building too much here when Doc's away. And that brings me to my next point. Doc's away. And so everyone knows that when Doc's away and Lefty's got the helm at the controls at the helm, we do all music all the time on the Doc and Lefty show. A couple of things just to kind of whet your appetite for next week when Doc's back and we get back to a little bit more politics. Just a few things to take note of. We're going to get into some of the stuff that happened at the end of the session. Our legislature was able to get completely finished. Not on time, obviously, but it didn't take nearly as much time as it thought. We had our friends of the show, Senator Brad Zahn, Representative Tom Shaw on here talking about how they were worried about a special session, that this was going to go super duper long, and they ended up getting all the three major things hammered out before the end of May, which we can't believe. So Doc and I will be kind of talking about that and whether or not any of those bills are going to the governor's signature or worth the paper they're printed on. I happen to think that a bunch of them are, except for the old abortion trick that the Republicans tried to sneak in there just to keep things going on a little bit longer. Some of those guys probably wanted to get paid. I don't know. Anyway, we're sitting here with Mike Ruby of Cirrus Minor. I'm sure most of the folks out here know about this guy and the band, and we've just been joined by, I think, the bass player for the band. Hey, no, that's okay. That's okay. So we got a couple of guys with Cirrus Minor here. Now, if you guys haven't checked out Cirrus Minor, they have been, you basically probably just moved to Des Moines because they have been around here for a long, long time. So I'm going to be talking to them a little bit about sort of, the history of the band, what their influences are, and also we're going to play a couple of tracks from their new CD, the release party for which is June 1st. Is that correct? This Saturday at Woolies in downtown Des Moines, which has overnight become probably the premier music venue in downtown Des Moines. In fact, probably in the entire metro. They had some crazy concerts. I'll talk to you guys a little bit about that over these last several months. But anyway, I'm sitting here with Mike Ruby, the lead singer, guitar player for the band. Mike, how's it going?
Pretty good, man. How you doing?
Hey, not too bad. And over on the other side of the table, we've got the bass player, I believe. Tell everybody your name.
My name's Aaron Lee.
Aaron Lee.
I'm the bass player.
Right on. Okay, so now let me ask you this question, guys. You guys been together a long time. How long?
Since about what, 2008?
Since the very beginning of 2008, like probably January of 2008.
And that's a little over 5 years at this point, and in band years, that is probably more like 20. I mean, you hear about guys.
Ain't that the truth?
Yeah, exactly. You hear about bands like the Rolling Stones, being around for decades and decades and decades. But I'll tell you, that is a very rare accomplishment. And what I remember hearing from a guy that I was in a band with a long time ago in Iowa City was, it's like being married to the four sweaty, smelly guys that you hate a lot of the time. Now, I'm not going to impute any of that relationship onto you guys, but
how big bands like that stay together is they don't live anywhere near each other most of the time.
Yeah,
they get together to do their work, and then that's it.
Well, that brings up sort of my first question. So you guys have been around for a while. You've been fixtures in the Des Moines local music scene for a long time, and play around mainly downtown. I think I've seen you guys up in Ames. You have shows in Ames, mostly Central Iowa. Is that right?
Well, Cirrus Minor's actually played in like 8 or 9 states, I believe.
Okay.
We've done Nebraska, Minnesota, Wisconsin,
mostly
Iowa, Illinois.
When we go out of state, we try and play like big festivals.
Absolutely. So what is it then that keeps you coming, aside from being home base, what keeps you coming back to the Des Moines scene?
The Des Moines scene's great. You go to a lot of other towns where you hear a lot of hype about the music scenes and you show up to shows, and not to diss any city, and I'm not picking on any one particular city, but you show up to some towns, and there'd be 20 or 30 people at a concert, and at the end of the night, the bartenders and the band's like, "Oh, that was a great crowd." In this town that's supposed to have a happening music scene, it's like, that was a great crowd, huh? Wow.
Well, maybe it was the bar, but
Yeah.
so are the two of you, Mike? You originally from Des Moines,
Yep.
and Aaron, you as well.
Yes, sir.
Okay, so I am not. I'm a transplant, and
Well, lucky guy.
well, I found my way to the promised land. I like to think. But let me ask you guys this: did you go to the same high school? How'd you guys meet?
Well, we met through a friend of ours. I was in a cover band, and Ogre and a bunch of his people came to watch. It was actually me and Rich, the keyboard player. Rich plays bass in this cover band that we're in, and Ogre came and seen one of the shows, and he was just getting out of a band which him and our drummer were in, and he was wanting to just do some jamming and stuff. So he called me, and I was like, yeah, because I was a huge fan of. They were in a band called Reality's Flaw.
Okay.
And I was a huge fan of that band. I used to go see those guys play all the time because I liked their stuff.
Heavy metal.
Oh, right on. I don't want to impute anything on you, Ogre. Is it? You got a little bit of that look. No offense. I dress up as a scrub most of the time when I'm not doing my day job. But let me. What's the personnel? Who's in the band?
Well, the two of us, obviously, and then we've got Joe Corbin on drums and Rich Cantrell on keyboards.
And so was it sort of a headhunter poaching kind of thing for all these guys to come together, or?
No, what it was actually at first, it was, hey, Ogre's like, hey, you want to come over and jam with me and our old drummer who's named Mackenzie Fleener? And it was like, yeah, let's jam. So I went over and we played we jammed for how long? We had one song was 15, 20 minutes, something like that, just jamming
Yeah,
on
and then
whatever.
we got an offer to play a show at the Marshalltown Coliseum. It's like, well, I suppose.
Hey, you can't turn down. Those folks up there.
So we wrote some songs real quick and did an acoustic set. Was our actual first show, and it was just the three of us.
And that was the beginning of 2008.
Yeah,
Yep.
and our old drummer Mac, he's a lot of fun. So he's a great guy. So that we had a lot of fun with it early on, and then eventually we brought Joe in, and we had both of them on drums for a while. We had hand drums and drum kit going, and then Mac had some personal issues that had to make him have to step aside. So we moved forward with just Joe, and this is our first release with just Joe on drums, and it's also the first CD that Joe's been on since I believe 2006, the second Reality's Flaw CD.
Now, and we'll get to the CD in a second here. We're rapidly coming up on our first break, but I just was curious a little bit. So it's the four of you guys, and you've had just a little bit of turnover at the drum position, but everybody else is the original crew. After 5 years in playing in 8 different states, would you say that you, and maybe this is a question for the end of the show when I just asked it up front, say that you're hitting your stride, and is your sound more or less coalescing at this point, or has it coalesced? Do you feel like you've arrived?
Yeah.
Well, it's definitely still growing. Over a period of years, you sort of form like a type of telepathy with anybody that you're around and working that closely with. So eventually, we'll get to, because we do a lot of improvising on stage, and we'll stretch songs or just full on freestyle sometimes. And
we try and do that as often as
we
possible.
it used to be when we were doing it, we have to watch each other and what's he doing?
Yeah.
And now it's like we just kind of go with it, and I kind of know his style enough to have a pretty good idea where he's going to go, and likewise, and same with Rich and Joe.
Right on.
But as far as writing goes, we all pretty much on the same page as far as being open to just about any style of music. If somebody wants to do a song, it really all depends on what we're jamming to, in our cars and stuff at that time. It's like, hey, I've been listening to a lot of Zappa. Let's write something like that. It goes like this, or I've been listening to a lot of Bob Marley. Let's write something that goes like this, or Tool, or anything. So it's really good to be with a group of guys that are open to exploring different types of music and stuff.
Right on. Well, no, and we'll get into some of that because I'm interested. I listened to a couple of songs on the website before I came to the studio, just to kind of at least have a base of operation to ask you guys some questions. So I've got some some questions I want to ask you. We're going to switch to a break here. We're back in about a minute. We're chatting with the bass player, Aaron Lee, and the lead singer, guitar player, Mike Ruby of Cirrus Minor. So we're promoting a new CD for their release here on Saturday. Check out the sponsors and come back after the break. Thank you very much.
Drug and alcohol addiction slowly steals a person's identity, tearing away pieces of their life little by little, until one day it seems like the hope of a happy future is gone and there's no chance of getting it back. Here at St. Gregory Retreat Centers, we can assure you that there is hope. Our unique approach to recovery begins with the understanding that the dysfunction and damage caused by addiction can be overcome, not just dealt with. Don't let another day go by. Call St. Gregory today.
Drink, dance, party. Kitty's is the ultimate dance club in Des Moines. A huge dance floor with room to move, 3 bars to keep your drinks full, and kickin' DJs playing all your favorite dance music. At Kitty's, we've always got your birthday party planned with Birthday Fridays. That's right, when your birthday rolls around, there's only one place to go. Gather up your friends and head to Kitty's, where you drink free on the Friday of your birthday week. Find out more about Birthday Fridays at kittiesusa.com. Kitty's, all kinds of people, all kinds of music, all kinds of fun.
From the RE/MAX Real Estate Concept Studios, this is Webcast One Live.
Hey, welcome back, everybody. Thanks for tuning in to Doc and Lefty tonight. We are doing our all-music show. The Doc's away and the bands will play, so to speak. I'm sitting here with 2 guys from Cirrus Minor, and we're kind of just talking about the band, how they came up, what kind of music they're into. And we will get into more of that here in a second. But I want to play a track off of the album, The Division of Space, that they are promoting for their CD release party Saturday, June 1st at Woolies downtown. And if you need any information about the gig, there's a lot of other bands that are going to be playing. Super Chief, Community, Descent of a Man, and Lesson 7. I know all 4 of those bands, and they're all fantastic. Of course, Cirrus Minor headlining the show, but we're going to play track number 6 off of Division of Space. It's called Chloroform. Guys, while we're getting that punched up, why don't you tell me a little bit about the song, kind of get people prepared for it?
Well, this song, our drummer, who's a huge Tool fan, wrote the lyrics to this song.
The majority of
them,
yeah.
And, of course, the drum parts. But he brings a lot of Tool influence, which we already had some, so we just kind of went with it on this one, and we just kind of got down. And it's, the lyrics are kind of open to interpretation. It's lyrics about being forced into submission.
Yeah.
Okay.
More or less. And it could be interpreted as being like an oppressive government or even an oppressive parent or someone you're in a relationship with but it's just about being suppressed and controlled and forced to being forced to accept
the man keeping you down. That's what
man
about
keeping you
the man
down.
keeping you down. That is what all good rock is and always has been. So Ryan, if you've got Chloroform punched up there, that would be awesome. I guess it's a longer song, a little over 7 minutes is what I hear, so we probably don't have time to hear the whole thing. But we'll definitely give you guys a taste of it, and I certainly don't want to spoil the release party for you all. So here's Chloroform from Cirrus Minor. All right, everybody. If that doesn't get you ready to get to this goddamn show, I don't know what will. That's Chloroform by the guys at Cirrus Minor. Talk a little bit about the that particular song, and I guess we would need to know. We'd need your drummer here. You need Joe. You need Joe here to kind of tell us a little bit about the inspiration of that song. But I want to talk a little bit about the album cover. You were mentioning to me a little bit about the artwork. What was that all about?
Yeah, the artwork was we were looking online for different, I had different kinds of art and stuff like that, and different, but we found this and we really liked it, and it was a collaboration between two artists, an artist done
Offermord out of Holland and Lucia Rossi out of Italy.
Right on. So obviously you got permission to use it. I mean, are we going to see these guys on future album covers or?
We'll see about that. I don't know how much collaboration they've got, how much collaboration those two have done. They did this piece together, but they both normally, I think, just do their own thing.
So tell me a little bit about, because talking about the structure of the CD here in a second when we listen to some more tracks, but on the subject of album covers, I mean, what inspires, this is your fourth release, fifth-ish?
Third, really. Well,
is kind of our third, yeah.
Yeah,
our first one was kind of a basement recording that a friend of ours did in his recording studio, and then we did a recording with Kevin Neal
up at Junior's
Motel. Yep.
Oh, right on.
And then this is the one following that.
Your third. Okay, so this is your third release. Obviously, you can see how well my research folks, and by research folks I mean myself, did in preparing for this interview. But so what do you kind of like to get out of an album cover? What kind of moves you? Is it just whatever, or is it something
that provokes some sort of thought or something that is interesting for your eyes to look at in the first place? What draws you in to anything is what you look at first. If you're looking at CD covers and something looks interesting or something that looks like it was some thought put into it, it's okay, all right, well then let's see what it sounds like,
Right on. And I was going to kind of get to that because it's always been my opinion, and maybe I'm kind of on that cusp age-wise where I still bought CDs and records and stuff back when I was little.
Heck yeah, I love them.
Who does, nobody really does that anymore, but I always kind of felt
you should, because then you get the art.
Absolutely.
You get the lyrics.
Yeah,
absolutely. It's a whole experience. But I know that it was always my opinion that an album, a CD, had a certain personality. It all every track, if it's like 12, 13 tracks, devolved into a singular kind of a mood or message on that particular record. Now,
ideally, yeah.
Yeah, Ogre, do you feel like your album covers kind of reflect that? If that happens, sometimes it does, sometimes it doesn't.
It kind of, I don't know. It's kind of representative in that the picture's a little bit dark, and our music's a little bit dark, some of it, but not all of it. And it's like there's nothing really demented or too crazy going on there, but there's just a lot of weirdness.
A lot of weirdness.
Right now, we're gonna jump back to another break here, but I want to make sure that we don't plug this too much or not enough or anywhere in between. Saturday, June 1st at Woolies, Cirrus Minor is releasing Division of Space. It's their third album, and I want to let you guys know that there is a tickets are $8 in advance, $10 at the door, but admission includes your copy of the CD. So if you come to the show, if you pay the $8 because you're on top of things, and it's only Tuesday, so you got plenty of time, get to the show. You get a free copy of Division of Space, and if the other songs on this record are like the one that we just heard at the top of this segment, you guys are not going to be disappointed. So we'll be right back with more from Cirrus Minor.
Troche and Associates will provide you with a friendly, caring, and confidential place to find help for mental health concerns. We are ready for your call. We are proud to work with military personnel and their families. Our doctor, Dr. J. Patrick Bertroche, provides a full range of psychiatric services for children, adolescents, and adults in a forthright and informative manner while maintaining a casual, comfortable, and relaxed atmosphere. Our licensed mental health therapists provide individual counseling to children, adolescents, and adults, including couples and marital counseling. Visit our website at bertrocheandassociates.com for more information or call 515-3 334-9484. Our offices are located at 5525 Meredith Drive in Des Moines, just east of Skate North off Merle Hay Road. Isn't it time to talk to someone? Take care of yourself and your family. Contact Bertroche and Associates.
Hey, welcome back, everybody. We're sitting here with Mike and Ogre from Cirrus Minor. Guys, loved that first song. That was track 6 called Chloroform off their new record, Division of Space, where they will be debuting Saturday, June 1st at Woolies. Now, we gave them a teaser up front. If they want to get if they can't wait until June 1st to get a copy of the free CD, where would you recommend that they go?
Well, they can't get it before June 1st. Nobody gets
there
it.
No pre-sale offers.
No, afterwards we'll have it in some retail locations. I'm not 100% sure, but for sure you'll be able to get it on iTunes and CD Baby and all those places after June 1st.
And most importantly, at our shows, which is where everyone should go.
Hey, no, that's a good point. But once again, there are some folks who have broken legs or are in wheelchairs or just can't make it out of their homes because they're boring and don't like to go see live music.
Yeah.
No offense to anybody out there, but is there anywhere else anybody can pick up some of your first 2 records or anything like that?
I think Triple Z Records downtown has some of them. I think that's probably about it in town. CD Warehouse used to, but I think they closed all those. Yeah,
CD Warehouse is no longer in business as far as I am aware. So I want to bring us in on another tune from the record. Have you guys got one that you dig?
They always want to do this.
Well, see, we sort of pride ourselves on not sounding the same song to song. You know, sometimes you go see a band and they get about 6 songs in, and it's like, man, didn't they just play this song 5 times? And that's the one thing we try the most to avoid is we try to keep mixing it up, have a little bit of something for everybody, and change it up as we go through the set. And we wanted the CD to reflect that. So
this song is completely different from the last one.
Right on.
Something a little different. Yeah, track 3.
Track 3. What's it called, fellas?
I'll Be All Right.
I'll Be All Right. Track 3 on Division of Space from Cirrus Minor. Ryan, if we've got that punched up, we'll take a listen to it.
Shadow is hard for me, but I'll be alright if you hold me through the night. Put your loving arms around me, yeah, make everything right. I'll be alright if you hold me through the night. No, this journey won't be easy, no, but one day we'll see the light.
All right, that was I'll Be All Right, track 3 from Division of Space. Now, Mike, you were, while we were listening to that, you let it drop that was one that you had written and were playing acoustically. What was going on in your life that kind of inspired you to write that song?
Well, the songs about losing, personally, to me, it's about the loss of my father, because at the time, it was me and him, and just his kid, my brother and sister. That's all we had. And then, he passed away, and it was kind of like I was just out of everything. I didn't have anything at the time, so it was extremely hard for me. And sometimes, the best way to express yourself is to write it in a song. And so yeah, that song for me is about the loss of my father. But it's really a relatable song for just about anyone that has lost someone and needed someone there to be for them and be with them and to hold them and to just support them at that particular hard time in their life.
There's a special guest backup vocalist on that track as well.
Yeah. I had my cousin Danielle Ruby, who is an amazing singer. She was singing she does the female backing vocals on that song.
Right on. Now, we have listened to 2 songs on this CD, both of which that are, drastically different from one another, which is something that you mentioned that you prided yourself on. And I'm wondering, now that we're here getting close to the half-hour mark of the show, what were some of and you get this question all the time, I'm sure. What's some of your musical influences growing up? Or who was in your CD player that turned into an iPod while you were growing up and becoming a big bass player?
For me, it was always Primus first and foremost, and then like stuff like Infectious Grooves and Fishbone, and anything with a good slapping and pop and bass line. That's what I tended to gravitate towards. Seeing Primus live for the first time back at Lollapalooza '93 is the reason that I play bass today. And I've met him a couple of times. My main fretless bass that I use on stage is signed by him and Victor Wooten and Chris Wood of Medeski Martin and Wood. That's a law firm that I would probably murder the 2 of you to get into.
Right?
Honestly, Claypool, Wood, and Wooten. It doesn't get much better than that. I saw Medeski Martin and Wood at Jazz Fest in Iowa City back in 2008.
They're bad.
I think. Holy cow. It doesn't get much better than that. But Mike, how about you? What brought you up?
What I started with was actually my whole family's musically inclined. Like my dad played and sang all over town, and and actually originally when I was a kid, it was more like Hank Williams and stuff like that. The classic country stuff. But then of course I heard Nirvana and started playing guitar. Nirvana was it for me because I was a '90s kid. And then Soundgarden, Black Sabbath was another one. I learned like every Black Sabbath song there was. And then, of course, Primus. All I had to do was hear those guys once and fall in love. And then Tool is a huge influence for me, way big. And pretty much that's the main ones.
And see, no one wants to hear about...
and Zappa.
Oh,
Can't
yeah.
forget Zappa.
Oh, absolutely.
Can't forget Zappa.
Now, no one wants to hear about my musical influences. This isn't my musical show, which is probably pretty good for everybody listening out there because we're here to promote your thing. But I would be remiss if I didn't admit to you guys before we went to a break that I loved everything that was lame in the 90s when I was growing up. Yes. Until, like, everything.
Big Chumbawamba fan, were you?
No, not especially. No. But the first CD that I bought with my allowance money was Cracked Review. And I challenged either one of you to say that you didn't know somebody or had borrowed that record at one time, because it was pretty much everywhere. They were using it to line and make wheels out of mousetrap cars when I was in high school. But that was the first CD that I bought. But I got into the older you get, it just... that old stuff, it never goes away. Zeppelin and Hendrix and all those guys. But
I would be remiss if I didn't mention that I listened to a whole lot of Frank Zappa too.
Oh yeah, no, Frank Zappa
a whole lot of Frank
was
Zappa.
the man for sure. But anyway,
we got to play with Zappa. We played with Zappa Play Zappa back in 2010. That was a blast.
I got to meet him. I got to meet him and hang out with him.
We've played with Primus. We've played with on a lot of big festivals. We've played with
Black Keys.
We've gotten to meet a lot of our idols and heroes and stuff. It's been great.
That's been the best part. That's been the best part about being in this band, is getting to meet some of the people that you're like you inspired this song, you know?
Yeah,
You know?
Oh,
Like
absolutely.
we started playing. I started playing because of Primus, and then in Milwaukee back in '09 or something like that, we got to open for Primus.
That is
At the rave.
That is very, very good. Anyway, we're going to take a quick break. We'll be back with our boys from Cirrus Minor. Stay tuned. We got a lot more to talk about, especially about this gig coming up at Woolies on June 1st. See you later.
Leach, owner and general manager of Service Legends. I brought along a couple of the home comfort heroes.
Hi, I'm Tammy Wells.
I am Nick Wondershot.
I'm administrative manager
I am the senior technician.
from Service Legends.
It seems like every good thing, when you feel it to the bone that it's good, there's a lot of hard work put behind it. I don't think that you can fake it and have it turn out good.
You know, if we seem like, okay, that's just weird, it's just a furnace, why would you believe so deeply in a furnace? It's not just that, you know, we want to show the world that you can have good service.
Yeah, I mean, it's got to be, it's your home.
You know, it's built into our daily trainings, it's built into our culture, that we're going to do whatever it takes to have each client say they love us, period.
That's why we spend all the hours in the training that we do. And if we guarantee it's going to be a good experience for you, or else it's free, what type of work do you think we're going to do?
There is a guarantee.
Temperature selection guarantee, fixed rider it's free guarantee, comfort guarantee, best value guarantee. All of these guarantees hold us accountable to ensuring that we exceed your expectations. And if for whatever reason we'd fail and we can't make it right, we guarantee all of those guarantees with a 100% money back guarantee.
I mean, if you don't think that your technician can fix it right, are you going to say that to a client? No.
You don't have to worry about having a technician come to your house.
We drug test, background check all of our team members. We put safe people in your home. Each and every one of our service techs, 400 hours a year in training.
You tell it the minute they walk in the door. They know what they're doing, they've done their homework, and they actually truly care about what you want.
Because at the end of the day, you're the person that makes sure I have a job.
They're going to be listening. They're going to want to know what your challenges are. Then they're going to come and give you options, and you get to choose.
If I'm there to help and I make it easy and painless, I did my job right that day.
Well, when it comes to your comfort, safety, and your family, you know, you don't necessarily go buy the most expensive, but you get the most bang for your buck.
Oh, it's worth it, because there's a lot of people that will find a way to get it to work right now and then leave and then come back, charge you again, and the cycle just repeats itself. So when I'm out there looking at the furnace, I want to find why it failed today. How can we change the part today with something that you're not going to have to worry about? Is it worth changing the part today? I mean, you can put a lot of money into a furnace. I can fix parts all day. There's good job security in that for me, but is it the right thing for you?
I get a lot of the phone calls of after the technicians are there. They're just in awe. They're like, wow, you guys are great. I mean, I don't even know what to say. You guys are great. Everything you did is perfect. It's great.
Keep going though, I like this.
Just give us a try. I'm going to take all the risk.
I've got the time to make this right. I've got the support to make it right.
Just check us out.
And if you don't see the value in what we do,
I mean, fixed rider, it's free or 100% money back.
enough said.
Hey, welcome back, everybody. During the break, I realized that I had made a fatal error. I was talking about I was talking past my two guests, Aaron Lee Ogre from the bass player of Cirrus Minor, and Mike Ruby plays guitar and does the vocals. I've been talking about where to pick up CDs, old CDs, new CDs, how to get stuff into your ears. And the really important thing that I neglected to mention was that we have retail outlets that are selling tickets for their CD release party at Woolies on June 1st. I'm sure that you can go to your website and find this stuff.
Ticketfly.com has them.
Yeah, Ticketfly.com has them. Daydreams over by Drake. We got the Underground Rock Shop, which is located in...
it's up in the Highland Park area. It's up at 6th and Euclid, up behind Aqualand.
Yeah, and then the House of Glass. And where's House of Glass?
House of Glass is on 63rd Street, just south of Grand, right? Kind of behind Long John Silver's in that same little strip mall where, what's it called now? Pinky's used to be the adult... In that same little area where there's the adult store, kind of on the other side is the little, what do you call it, head shop? I don't know.
Yeah, no, you're talking just a little bit east still of Valley Junction, because there's that head shop that was there.
No, I'm talking like right up 63rd and Grand. There's the True Value, then the Long John Silver's, and then the little strip mall. It's in that little strip mall.
Oh, okay, right on. Very good. We're just see, this is what happens when you got a real townie and a transplanted fake townie trying to talk about things that I used to live around there. So I thought that I knew that a little bit better.
I think it's a fairly new place, and it is amazing. It looks like something you'd see in a more medical state than ours. Let's just say that.
Now, gentlemen, you guys would not be people that would participate in such activities.
We would never not.
No, but
we would never not.
We do think the legislation barring it is absolutely ridiculous.
Hey, you know what? Come back next week and we'll get into that, because this is a music show today. The politics stuff is suspended when Doc is out. But anyway, so
awesome.
I want to go back and say the Ticketfly.com, Cirrus Minor. We're at CirrusMinorLive.com. Cirrus Minor. That's Cirrus-Minor.com. Daydreams, Underground Rock Shop, and House of Glass. So any of those places will have tickets for the show. Otherwise, I suppose you can give out your cell phone numbers and just have people call you all day.
Yeah.
It's
515-555-5555.
515-123.
And check you guys out on Facebook to see any of the upcoming gigs. But I want to talk a little bit about the process now, if that's all right with you guys.
Yep.
I personally I've recorded a couple like small, just short run EPs here. They're little demos. Done a lot of tracking for different people who needed a guy to play harmonica on certain different songs, and I hate it. I hate being in the studio. I hate it's so tedious. How do you guys keep up that energy from song to song to song?
Red Bull.
Yeah. It is. It's very tedious.
We worked with a guy, I don't know, you can kind of describe him as like sort of a audio mad scientist. He's definitely got a different approach to tackling things, but he ends up with a great final product. We used no amplifiers, no live drums. We used a Roland V-drum kit, a really, really elaborate one, and ran everything direct and then reamped it through his virtual amplification programs and stuff like that.
Virtual effects,
virtual amps and effects were awesome. That made me have to go buy an iPad to work into my live bass rig, so now I have those same kind of virtual effects in my live setup. And we ran everything direct and reamped it virtually, and all the effects and everything are all digital, all done inside the box. So
I've seen that. I was part of a group where we did that with some guitars. Obviously, there's some things that don't work as well. Well, it's the same sort of process, I guess. But I guess, do you like that? Because I imagine that you've done it the other way, the more traditional way.
Yeah, our last album, we've been over backwards to make
tape.
sure everything was analog to tape.
Really?
Old school sound.
You've done both now.
Yeah.
And definitely this way is the future of recording. I mean, all these studios that have all this millions of dollars worth of gear, it's all about to be obsolete. Technology is made amazing steps.
Well, let me ask you this, because Mike, you hear a lot about these folks that now you're buying a lot of vinyl again. Vinyl's made a comeback. In fact, I believe
it's awesome.
Yeah, vinyl was the fastest grower in 2012 as far as record sales, I believe.
Awesome.
It had seen the largest increase in sales from the previous year over any other thing, digital CDs, what have you. Obviously a niche product. You've also seen a lot of bands going back to the analog stuff, just to, with mics in the room to pick up the ambient booms of the amps and all that stuff. Do you like this better?
There's definitely something to be said about trying to get that genuine vintage type sound that you can only get from recording onto a tape and using area mics. And I don't think that's ever going to be gone, because the only way you can get that sound is that way. It's like, in the 90s, if somebody said that vinyl was going to come back, people would have looked at you and said, "Yo, okay,
right." But at the same time,
but look at these CDs. You think
in my neighborhood in the last couple of years, 4 new record stores have popped up 6th and Euclid. There's the Underground Rock Shop, then there's Wayback Records, and there's Red Rooster Records, and then there's Uncle Moe's Records that just opened up in the old post office. So just at that one intersection, there's 4 vinyl record stores.
It's making a comeback. Just like, and that's why I don't believe that recording to a tape and using area. I don't think it's ever going to go away, because it's the only way you can get that vintage, that awesome, that particular sound, and it might make a comeback. But as far as me,
the tape's expensive.
It's very expensive. But as far as me, this is a way more practical way to do it, unless you have a lot of money.
Sure.
And this is the way to do it and get the product that you want and the sound that you want without having to take out a huge loan.
top down from first scratch track to now. Who did your mastering?
Dustin.
He did
Dustin
all
Miller at
everything.
Audio
He does
Aggregate.
everything.
He did the mastering on the last couple of Animals as Leaders albums, and
Who is an awesome band if you never heard of them.
Plug your shop. Who'd you guys deal with?
Dustin Miller at Audio Aggregate downtown.
He's the man.
Awesome.
And he did everything. He engineered it, he produced it, and he mastered it for you guys.
Yep.
Hey, if you've got the time, because that's a lot of work. Mastering a record is a heck of a lot of work.
Yeah, we started this in February.
That's what I was going to ask you. So from how and I also know that guys that like to engineer and master, to do both, wear both hats, are often very particular about the kind of sounds that they want to get out. Now, so from first scratch to final master, first of all, how integral were you guys in the post-production, and how long did it take you from start to finish?
We were there for all of it. And it depends on how much you want to count, because we were doing pre-production tracks and mapping out our click tracks and stuff like that all the way back to last November.
Yeah.
So really it's been,
as far as pre-recording,
like 6 or 7 month process. With Dustin, we started in February. We weren't on it every day, by any means, but a few times a week and hammering it out. And
a lot of days till 2:30 in the morning. That's for sure.
Yeah. Now you've got seven tracks on this record. One of the one is sort of like an introductory, sort of like welcome to the jungle kind of thing. What goes into putting a record together? How much do you spend a lot of time thinking about which track comes first, second, third?
Oh yeah. And a lot of debate on which ones should go where and what should do what. But this one wasn't too bad, really.
No broken bones or anything.
This was pretty painless as far as what was supposed to go where, and I think this one should, Do
you like to tell? Tell me a little bit about the process. Do you like to tell a story? Do you like to kind of create a mood?
Well, with this one, we didn't as much plan it out as well. We sort of did plan it out as an album, but one of the big things is we're working with Damon Marino now of the Inner Light Agency. So this album was sort of geared at being shopped to labels, and a lot of times they will only listen to your first 3 songs. So like we went out of our way to make sure the first 3 songs were very well representative of us and showed a good amount of variety right up front, right off the bat. So that's why.
But as you can clearly tell, since there's a song that's 7 minutes, we didn't care necessarily too much about how much time each. Because a lot of times when you're talking about radio when you're talking about radio, it's 3.5, 4 minute songs is what everybody wants.
We're not going to be the next Justin Bieber.
No, we don't. The song is in
the sense of being good looking and the kids wanting to like model their looks after us, and teenage girls putting posters of us up in their lockers.
Oh, that's going to happen.
We probably will be the next Justin Bieber, and that's
yeah. I would imagine that's probably already happened, especially around the kinds of people that hang out at places like Daydreams and the Underground Rock Shop. Our
kind of people.
I've spent some time at least Daydreams. I can't remember if I've ever been to the Underground Rock Shop up in Highland Park. But so we've got our tracks down. We've got our the sort of like the idea for the record, because there's a lot of songs that I'm sure didn't make the record that you guys do.
Yeah.
And so kind of talk a little bit about the process of picking songs to sit on the record, and were there songs that were originally on the list that got axed?
Well, mainly the way we wrote it is because the way we decided it is because we had a few songs that were wrote since Joe joined the band, and we knew that those ones we wanted to be on the album because we wanted something that represented what Joe had brought to the band, and which it turned out great. And the other songs were ones that we had decided, okay, like track number 1 actually we recorded in Illinois. Ohio, yeah. I don't know why I said Illinois. Yeah, Ohio.
And with Dan Smots for Universal Recording Group, we went out there and just demoed it as a single.
Yeah.
Very cool. So have you been Have you been approached? Any bites? Any sort of, you've been dangling the hooks out? You're unsigned right now, I believe.
Right now.
We've had some small offers that we've had to decline, but as soon as this product is actually in the hands of our manager and able to get shopped around, we're hoping to get a little bit more bites. He's got some things lined up for us as far as licensing opportunities. He's going to get some of these songs will be in video games and in shows on like TLC. He's got a line in on a new TV show with Jesse James, so we're hoping to get something on one of his new shows.
Right on. Now, let me ask you this: from what I hear from some of the other band folks that I talk about, when they're talking about getting signed, when they're talking about becoming sort of commercially viable, where you can, first of all, you guys have day jobs.
Oh yeah.
Oh
You can quit the day job and actually do what you are here to do full time. It's been my experience that folks, they sort of all collapse down into a particular sound. I mean, the Dave Matthews Band, for example, is always the Dave Matthews Band, and everything sounds like the Dave Matthews Band. We talked earlier about that Cirrus Minor, that you could be listening to a Cirrus Minor song and you could be listening to a Tool-infused Cirrus Minor song, or to a sort of more acoustic flavored jam, or maybe something that's sort of like space rocky like Zappa.
Yeah.
And it's all in the mix and it's all on the table. Do you fear that the industry would sort of distill that down into its
I would kind of hope that they would embrace it. I would kind of hope that they would embrace it and say, okay, well, this band has enough different kinds of styles that we can literally shop this to any station. You know what I mean? Like, you have songs that would be perfectly fine on on pop stations, and you have songs that would be good on rock stations. You have, I would hope that it would be more along the lines of this is a group that can appeal to more people instead of just trying to be one niche.
But you're right, though. A lot of the bigger labels would look at it and be like, okay, I think we could sell track 3. Give us a whole album of that.
Exactly. And that's kind of what I mean.
Yeah.
And then that absolutely does happen. And we will probably not be signing with any label that comes at us like that, because
it would drive me insane.
The whole reason we started this band was to give ourselves a certain level of creative freedom. Like, we allow ourselves to go anywhere, and if somebody comes in and says, "Hey, I got this really weird idea for a song that's not like anything else we do," it's like, okay,
Sure. Now we're rapidly approaching our final break, but I wanted to throw this question to the both of you. One of the first bands to really blow up without getting signed by a label, and I don't mean the absolute first, but one of the first bands with some name recognition that was able to make it without an A&R and the industry behind them, was Dispatch back in 2000. They got hot with Napster, and they released 3 albums and 2.5, and did really, really well, so that they were playing 200 person venues, and then their last show they played probably 10,000-15,000, which doesn't happen. No one really does that very often.
Fish did that.
Yeah, that's right. And
Fish.
Yes, exactly.
That's what I thought he was going to say.
Exactly. Fish, probably, and I meant sort of more in the digital age, because Fish was sort of like, they worked their ass off.
Yeah.
Right.
And so in this age of limited attention span, of Facebook, of everything being instantly accessible, what is it about Cirrus Minor that's going to get people to Woolies on Saturday, June 1st, when they can go out and get a hold of you in sound bites and stuff?
Because you won't see the show. It's all about the show for us. We're going to have lights. We're going to have
music's become
lasers.
So disposable nowadays. When you were young and you had to save up some money and go to the record store, and you'd come home with that one album and you'd sit down and you'd want to read all the lyrics and everything, because you went through a lot of effort to get it, and it makes it special. And nowadays, when you can download 6 albums in 5 minutes, just by going click, 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 and you got eight new hours of music, and you may or may not even listen to all of it, and you may or may not even give a crap if you do listen to it. And so really what bands have to do now in this day and age is you have to put on a good live show. You have to make your live show more than just some guys standing on a dark stage. You have to, lights, banners,
lasers,
movement, excitement. You got to get the crowd involved. You got to, you have to up the live show. Like if you went and saw, like if Fish didn't have the light show they had, they wouldn't have the following they had, and nothing against their music, but in this day and age, people go see, like when people talk about a band like Phish or Pink Floyd, the light show is always one of the first things they mention. They're always like, "Oh my God, their light show was amazing." And they don't really say too much about the guys on stage playing their asses off, but overall as an experience, they walk away from it and say, "Hey, that was an experience."
That was a
and
great
that's what
show.
you got to do is you got to make your concert enough of an experience that people want to come back and have that experience again and again. And then the music can be a little bit disposable, and they may or may not end up needing the CD, but a band can still make money off of ticket sales and T-shirts, and that's about the state of the industry right now. That's the only place where there is money is tickets and T-shirts.
Fantastic. And I agree with just about everything that you just said. We're going to go our last break. Stick around. Pay attention to our sponsors and the folks that make this show possible. We certainly do appreciate everything that they do. We'll be right back here with Cirrus Minor after this.
From the RE/MAX Real Estate Concept Studios, this is Webcast One Live.
Whether you're 10, 25, 50, 80 years old and beyond, everyone needs to live within their means. I'm Tom Coates with Consumer Credit of America. For almost a quarter of a century, we've helped people of all ages learn to manage their personal finances to benefit them far into the future. When problems arise, we've got the experience you need to make those debt problems go away. Got financial problems? Call Consumer Credit of America.
If Tom Coates from Consumer Credit of America was your personal webmaster, Tom would filter out all bad debt emails. If Tom was your mailman, you'd never get any debt reduction junk mail. If Tom Coates was a lineman, he'd block any phone calls offering to reduce your credit card debt.
Hi, I'm Tom Coates with Consumer Credit of America, and we're still your best choice for credit counseling. We're local, we're accountable, and we can do more. You make the call when the time's right for you.
When it comes to competition, there really is none for Consumer Credit of America.
All right, we're back with Cirrus Minor. Now, guys, I just want to make sure that I got everything for the CD release party correct. I know that I've only said it a couple of times, but I want to run down exactly what's going on Saturday. Saturday, June 1st at Woolies, which is at 504 East Locust in downtown Des Moines. Woolies, seriously, if you haven't been to Woolies yet, it's awesome. It's one of the premier, probably at this point, the premier now that there's no People's Court.
Yeah.
The premier music venue. I mean, just tell everybody about some of the shows that have been there recently.
Oh my God.
Those Mushroom Head, Trapped,
Faceless, Dillinger Escape Plan,
Dillinger Escape Plan,
Iodo.
yep.
They've had Buckethead, and that one guy, the Frankenstein Brothers, that was an amazing show down there. Clutch, they've been just tearing it up, and they got a PA down in there that is just this incredible wall of speakers. I mean, that PA could probably push a venue 2 or 3 times that size, so they don't have
but
to
it's a
keep
nice
it like,
size venue. I mean,
so
they
don't
nice
have
place.
to keep it cranked up to where the PA is screaming at you.
Right.
You know, they keep it nice and low. So, like when you get bands using like the samples and the kick drums and stuff, like that bass that system has, just like you just feel it. You know, it just shakes the whole building.
Right on.
It's great.
We got a few bands that are going to be there helping out, some special appearances from Super Chief, Community, Descent of Man, and Lesson 7. Tickets are $8 in advance, 10 at the door. They're at ticketfly.com, Daydreams, Underground Rock Shop, House of Glass. And, you know, back in the day, it used to be a lot more important to relay addresses and things like that for people. But I'll say it again, ticketfly.com, Daydreams, Underground Rock, House of Glass. Google it. You'll find it. It's not going to be very difficult. So there's no excuse of missing this show because I didn't know what it was. I didn't know how to get a hold of anybody.
And Woolies is 504 East Locust.
Yes. And admission includes a copy of the CD. The CD is The Division of Space, which is the third album from Cirrus Minor. Now, guys, we're going to play track 2 off of this release as we're going out on the show. Set the song up a little bit.
It's called Inner Paralytic, and it's about being trapped inside yourself without feeling any control of what your life has become or what it was preordained to be.
All right, and what kind of explain some of what are the anything featured, anything different, sort of what do we expect to kind of listen to here?
I expect that everyone will enjoy it.
It's just some straight up Cirrus Minor.
Hey, right on, some straight. See, and that's a classic statement. You got some straight up Cirrus Minor. So Ryan, why don't you pump up that tune for us, and we will close the show out with track 2 from The Division of Space from Cirrus Minor. Everybody, one more time. Here it comes. I'm going to take a listen to that as it gets queued up. All right, that's Interparalytic, track 2 from Division of Space. Seriously, everybody, Saturday, June 1st at Woolies. That's this Saturday coming up. Get your tickets now. Get them at the door. Get them any way that you can. Come and see these guys and support live music here in Des Moines because we certainly need it. The scene has gotten leaps and bounds better than it ever was, and we've got great bands that are leading the charge. I want to thank my guests here. I want to thank Aaron and Mike from Cirrus Minor. Come and see this show.
To be here.
Thanks for having us.
Hey, not a problem, guys. Once again, I want to thank all the sponsors. Thank webcast1live.com. Thank Ryan, the producer. Wish Doc happy travels and a safe return because we're going to get deep into the political weeds next week. Stay tuned for that. Once again, my name is Lefty, and we will see you next week. Thank you very much.